Hi, I'm Laura Crapo, otherwise known as Laura Borealis. Here's my grandmother Hilda Baldwin's adorable needlepoint she made me. So cute. And at first, when my grandfather called me that, it made me cry because I thought that Borealis, like, because the word boring is kind of in there, and he was calling me boring, but he said, no, it's beautiful, I promise. Anyway, and eventually I did see the Northern Lights at a Saskatchewan campground in the mid-'80s, and so I get it. It was nice. But then it became a bit of a problem because then it's not really my name, and then just like so eventually, and also it was hard for me to say like I'm Laura Borealis because like it's not my real name. So eventually I got tired of that, like in 2010, and I just was like, okay, I'm Laura Crapo, deal with it, mispronounce it, like whatever. But then like it becomes complicated because like which will the real person please stand up? So anyway, my first band I called Snob Shop. It was just a little sticker from back then. And I made a few cassettes when I was programming at CKDU in Halifax. That was when I first really heard like indie music and like Sebadoh and stuff. I was like, oh my god, you can like make your own music without it sounding polished. Like, that blew my mind. And so that kind of like opened the doors of permission for me to proceed. And my first song I wrote was In Her Car, like a shorter version of it, and it was just about how much I love to drive. This manual, because I grew up driving. My dad made me drive like since I was 8, and made me drive on the highway when I was like, I don't know, 11 or something, as soon as I could reach the pedals. And so like I like cars. It's just like I like driving. And my kids say I drive really, really well, so like safely, and they're not like freaking out as passengers, so it makes you feel good. So then I wrote some more songs, and eventually I made this record, which is sort of like a compilation. It's sort of a bit of a time machine, like compilation of different stuff. There's the back. And this guy, Chris Murphy, taught me how to use his 4-track recording machine with a cassette. And he also demonstrated how to make a good drum sound by putting the microphone under a couch cushion and banging on that. So it was just that. And then he and Andrew invited me to their practice space. There's this lone practice space to learn how to drum. And like Chris's drum teaching technique, which worked, which was like you're like a puppet. You sit on his lap and feet on feet, hands on hands. You feel how it feels to drum properly. And I think a few other people learned that way, courtesy of his tutelage. And so then I got interested in drums too, and then I made a bunch of this music, and some, I think a couple songs are from the first band I was in, Slacks 2000. And so it's pink vinyl. It's like really nice, and there's a couple songs on there that sound like other bands may have borrowed from. Since I put it out in when was that? I put it out when I was living in Chicago. When was that? It'd be like 93-ish. Um, anyhow, so there's that, and then after that, I made this CD called Funderful, which was like a bunch of, it's a combination of, like 4-track kind of stuff I had and studio stuff. I hadn't really like been in the studio much. And then I don't have an example of the CD right in my hand, but maybe I'll add it later or somebody else can. But then I made this CD album in 2008, I believe. Like I recorded it in 2007 and then I released it in 2008. And I think it's just called Laura. And it's like pink on the cover with like a picture of a textile. Or no, and a drawing on the textile. And I was really grateful to have been able to record that album at the Arcade Fire's church studio that was in Farnham, Quebec. And it was like an old Masonic hall turned into their studio, because I was saying to another ballet mom at the time, I was like, I really want to make an album, but I want to make it in a church. And she's like, well, I happen to know a band that has a studio in a church. And then so I sent them an example of my music, and then and the rest of the band gave permission for me to record there, and I was able to record there with Mark Lawson. Sorry, it's been a while. And and that was like incredible, and I'm very grateful to them. And they're so supportive of the community, and they do a lot of good work for the community. Sorry, my dog's barking. Wait, I'll just pause it. Okay. And so that was amazing. And almost all the songs were done, like, isolating some different instruments from time to time. But like the one song that was live off the floor was California, because like there was this, I had a bass player I hadn't met before that was recommended, and I didn't know that in French it's not like A, B, C, D, it's like do, re, mi and stuff. And so like I hadn't written on the page like the do, re, mi thing, and so that sort of confusion led to us not having as much time to record the song. And so we just did it live off the floor, and actually I think it sounds great. And I'm kind of maybe biased now to live off the floor stuff, but I mean the other songs sound great. And there were so many amazing musicians that contributed on that album, like the performances. Anyway, it's all written down on there, and it was like a really great experience, and it was very like kind of life affirming and like a supportive vibe, and it was great. And so yeah, that was a very exceptional experience that I'm really grateful for. And then I think I made a duet album of like all these really great other male songwriters I know. I wrote these songs, and then they were kind enough to sing the male part of them. and then we had a performance at Sala Rosa. It was nice of the Casa del Popolo people to let us perform there. We performed in their restaurant area, and it's just like that was a really nice event, and I'm really grateful to the Sala Rosa people and I mean the Casa del Popolo team for letting us play there. And I think there's some videotapes of that on YouTube somewhere. like in pieces, because it was like, you know, maybe it's by song or I don't know. And then after that, I think I really wanted to make, because I lived in Quebec, and I wanted to make like a French album, and I really love disco, and so I made a French kind of disco album, and I called the band Le Look, and it was Ryan Maishwal from the Local Rabbits playing on bass, because he has like a really cool setup. Like I never thought that like what's that called, when it's not a tube amp, it's a solid state. So he had this like really like small solid state amp and like these crazy pedals with his bass, and it made like such a great sound. And so I like tip my hat to him for like just finding his sound, you know. It's really cool when that happens. So we played a couple shows. I think we played Sala Rosa, and we played Café de Paris on Saint Denis in Montreal, and it was really fun. And no, we also played Barfly. It was the one time I was allowed to play Pop Montreal, and I've never played before since then. And so then, okay, where do we look? And then, what did I do? Okay, I'm just gonna like backtrack for a minute, just because like I went into a fog there about like what happened after that. So before that, like when I was living in Halifax and being a programmer at CKDU, and it really opened my eyes to indie music. It was like a really cool moment, and everybody at CKDU was really cool and fun. It was a great community. And then at the same time I was going to Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, and seeing like local bands play, and it was like a very supportive, for the most part, scene there. And like people in Halifax like love to just have a good time and dance, like no matter what no matter what band it is. So it's like very different than like Chicago or, you know, other places. So what was I gonna say about that? Oh yeah. And then so because I knew people in the music scene, and they knew that I was making like videos, art videos and stuff at NASCAD, I was then asked by Thrush Hermit to direct a video, and I was like, well, I'll do it as long as I have carte blanche. And they're like, yeah, no problem. So then French Inhale by Thrush Hermit was my first music video that I directed. And then I think after that might have come the Eric's Trip Viewmaster video that I directed, and it's called Viewmaster, and Rick White wanted a Viewmaster style, and he had these very important places in his mind of like where he wanted each slide to be in the Viewmaster. So it was really great to work with him and work with, like, I love Eric's Trip. I've probably seen them play more than any other band, and that was great live. And so, and then I think I did the Super Friends 10 Pounds video, which was really fun. And and the only stipulation on that video was that Matt's brother Luke had to do country dancing with his girlfriend. It's like, no problem. Sorry, my dog's barking, mate. I wanted to add right now, because I just remembered this, like, I wrote most of the Laura album from 2008. here where I am right now, which is sort of near Shawinigan in Quebec. And Shawinigan's really close to Parc National de la Mauricie. And so anyway, it's like really beautiful, lots of lakes, and it's good vibes. And so, okay. Right, so music videos. And then at some point I got the idea, like, I wanted to do my MFA, so I did that in Chicago. And I did my MFA there, but like, I also met and dated just through Bob Weston, who had come to Halifax to record some bands for Sub Pop, and I was asked to take some photos, and so I met him there. I'm like, oh, I'm moving to Chicago. He's like, oh, call me when you get there, we'll show you around or whatever. And then Bob and his friends and me were just sitting at this restaurant next to Lounge Acts, and then in walks this guy, and he starts talking, like, recording with Bob, and I said, oh, you also record music? And then everyone kind of laughed, and then it turned out to be Steve Albini, who I guess I'd heard the name of, but I'm not a follower of his genre of music. Or I mean, I'm aware of it now, but it's I wasn't like a fan or that knowledgeable about what he had done, because I love like R&B and slow jams, and like I spent my teenage years going to like jazz festivals and stuff and seeing like Miles Davis and like really good people, and so just my head wasn't in the like I'm angry about something and I'm gonna shred on guitar, like I wasn't there in my mind. But he's really, Steve, rest in peace, very intelligent, multi-talented person, and very funny, and just like very easy to talk to about any subject. So it was nice to know him. And anyway, so when I was in Chicago, like, I was really busy with the artwork I had to produce for my MFA, and then, but in hindsight, it might have been smart, because I love recording music, to maybe I could have just pressed pause on the MFA and whatever, like, helped out plugging things and rapping chords or whatever to like learn more about recording. But anyway, like, so that was like really great to go to Lounge Acts a lot and see like all these bands that come through that never play in Canada. And so I was there a lot, and I was there during the time before the smoking ban, where it was just like literally walking into a cloud of smoke every night, and it was like, it was a lot. Like, I already grew up with secondhand smoke, but I would say that Lounge Acts in the early 90s was like a heavier dose of secondhand smoke than normal, as probably other Gen Xers can validate. So, okay, in terms of, and then, so I was like putting together this record, like putting the album physically in the sleeve, like at Steve's house / studio. And I also helped him put like root beer essence on some paper fold 7 inches or something he had going, or maybe it was like anyway, I was part of that assembly. And anyway, Chicago's really cool, but it was like a bit intense for me in terms of like living. So, because like growing up in Canada where everything's just like very quiet, almost too quiet, but like, there's a lot of US, even though I'm born in the States, It's a lot of hustle and bustle down south. So I went back to Halifax, and I think that's when I did the Super Friends video, when I went back. And or anyway, it was around then. Okay, and then what album did I make after that? Okay, I made the French one. That was like 2010. And also, like, the other thing around the French one and stuff is, like, the Laura album. Yeah, it was no, wait. There was some, I think it was the French one, the Lilac. I think I was recording, like, I had been going through a divorce around 2008, and, like, it, it's, like, kind of scary to go to court and all that jazz, like, stressful. So, what I did was I booked studio time for the day after each court appearance that actually might have been the duets album that I did around those, the divorce court dates and stuff. Anyway, it was good to, like, just focus on the positive that way, like, and I wanted to make something beautiful. Yeah, so that was, like, the duets album, and, like, about love and stuff. So that was that. My dog, I'm just gonna stop my dog from barking. My dog's just right here, but I don't know, he's full of beans right now. So I just wanted to just make a initial video, just going like, I still exist. I may be hiding in the woods, but I'm still here. And I wanted to explain the whole Laura Borealis, Laura Crapo, Lilac, whatever, thing, and just be like, I did that. And also, most recently, I started another band that is more like, oh my god, wait, just 1 second. Okay, and the most recent project I did, I probably forgot one in there, but maybe I'll do, like, pictures on the video to show, like, stuff I've done. But the most recent one is my band Very Hot Songs, VHS, and it's kind of like my stadium rock band, and I have one song out called Unbreakable, and that's on Spotify and for sale on various whatever platforms. I think the only one that didn't accept it was Apple, because, like, I think Very Hot Songs or VHS are, like, kind of like it just didn't compute with Apple, so I don't know if it's up there or not. I'm filming this on a Samsung, so because it honestly records better video and audio than the Apple. So I have an iPhone, but I just have it so that I can, like, FaceTime my kids and have my computer talk to my phone. But, like, Samsung's better. So yeah, so Very Hot Song. So I'm looking forward to, like, getting the rock machine up and rolling again, and I just wanted to make this video because I feel like I've made a lot of psychic videos and stuff, but, like, one of my big loves in life is music, songwriting and music and playing live. And oh yeah, that's the other thing I did that I forgot, is for a little bit I was playing in Alden Penner's band, and he was in the Unicorns, and what's this other band called? What's this other band called? Totally blanking on that, but, like, he has another band that was really cool too. And I want to say it starts with an S, but anyway, uh, anyways, good band. Anyway, so I was encouraging him to make a solo album, and he recorded a lot of that at my previous house, and then after that I was like playing drums for him, and then I ended up playing drums for him and Michael Cera on a European and UK tour that happened in 2015, which was really fun. And it's good rock school kind of training, playing in front of bigger crowds, like when the pressure's on and stuff. And so now I feel like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I feel like after that, I feel more confident playing live, because I think I was like shy before. I mean, I have some examples of stuff that I played in New York, like at the Sidewalk Cafe, that looked fine in hindsight. I think I've since discovered like vocal warm-ups and like, you know, stuff like that that make life easier. But anyway, I still love music, and I'm still here, and you know, looking forward to doing more stuff musically. Right, doggy? Let's go. Alright. I don't know why it slipped my mind that at the beginning I talk about how important, like, hearing Sebadoh when I was a DJ, whatever, programmer at CKDU, how eye-opening that was in the, whatever that was, early 90s. And and then I neglected to say that it was like a dream come true that eventually Sebadoh, Lou Barlow, asked me to direct his video for Ocean, which was like so fun. There's one other thing I forgot to mention, which is I made 2 feature-length films called All She Wants, and that was in 2001, and All She Wants 2, which is, I think I finished it in 2014, but I think I like showed it for the first time in 2015, and at the premiere was at the Echo Park Film Center in Los Angeles in the spring of 2015. Yeah, so, and I'm also halfway through another film